There's a conspiracy. I can feel it. This whole heathen town is conspiring against me. I want to know why they killed poor Jebin. We can't trust no one. No one. You should question Raids Falvino. Even if he didn't carry poor Jebin's body into my apartment himself, he must know something.
A warm welcome to you. Outlander.
You're not a local. But let's hear it. It is always an honor, Narivaran. I know you've heard it many times, from many people, but let me say it again. What? Someone carried a dead body to the priest's apartment? I'm just a commoner. I ain't done nothing wrong,
Where is
I
that
swear.
slave?
No. No. I know nothing. Please stop harassing me. Glub, glub. Alright. Alright. I will tell you everything. But not here. Not here. There are ears everywhere. They'd kill me if they knew I was talking to you. We need to go somewhere where it's safe. There's a warehouse just outside.
Where is that slave?
You know it. It's the one with the crane on the roof. The warehouse has a basement. It's always empty. It'll be safer to talk there. I'll go in first and wait for you there, okay?
Is there something I can do for you?
You're here. Good. Glug, glug. No one can hear us here. His mind wasn't strong enough. Jebin refused us. The captain told him that he couldn't escape his destiny. But he found a way. Threw himself against the rocks. Neck broken. Lungs filled with water. Glug, glug. No use in wasting good meat, is there? Glug, glug. Aha. Clever Outlander, aren't you? But are you ready for what happens next? You're going to die with me, Outlander. And I will be reborn. Falvino turns the crank behind him. You hear the sound of lake water rushing into the basement. Raids Falvino is silent. He appears to be sure that he will not die.
Three blessings, Sarah.
I enforce both Indorial customs and Imperial law.
Is there something I can do for you?
Someone said they saw figures dressed in red robes enter the lighthouse. That's odd. The lighthouse keeper never lets anyone in. So, the rats had a nest inside the walls. That mere thought of them living and breeding there makes my skin crawl. Thank you for killing them all, Ada. You're not too bad for an outlander. Here's 3 potions of strength and 1 for curing diseases, too. You've earned them.
Yes, Outlander.
3
what may I do
blessings,
for you?
Someone said they saw figures dressed in red robes enter the lighthouse.
Yes, Outlander. What may I do for you?
Yvonne Seelith has gone missing too? Dire news, yes, but there's still hope. Both he and his captors must still be in Aimrah. Captain Abijah's ship hasn't left the harbor. I heard that a shady congregation of people was making its way to the lighthouse. That's where they must have taken him. There's no time to lose. The Hetman Dava Ernam holds the key to the lighthouse. If you explain the situation to her, perhaps she'll help you. The Hetman is in the trade house. Make haste. I hope you find him. Best of luck to you. Speak with Dava Ernam to get the key to the lighthouse. I was afraid that the young lad might already be dead, but I still held on to hope, the fool that I am. This is a grievous thing, my friend. A grievous thing indeed. There's a shadow over Aimrah. The lighthouse door is always locked. The lighthouse keeper never lets anyone in, or so it's said. The Hetman, Dava Ernam, holds a spare key for emergency situations like these. Some say that Captain Abijah named the ship after his dead mother.
Outlander.
Blessings of the 3 upon you. I am Hetman Dava Ernam, the Hetman of Aimrah. Though you are a welcome breath of fresh air from the locals, I must let you know that this trade house doesn't trade goods with outlanders. If you are looking for services, I can point you in the right direction. Or are you perhaps a bounty hunter looking to cash in on some bounties? Then you're in the right place. What's this? What do you need the key for? Then I'm afraid I can't let you enter the lighthouse. What's this? What do you need the key for? And you have reason to believe he's inside the lighthouse? Horrible. We will deal with these rogues whoever they are. You have my permission to enter the lighthouse, Ada. Here's the key. Indoral foot soldiers will meet you at the front door. They will accompany you in the raid. Rescue Yvonne Seelith. It is always an honor, Narivaran.
3 blessings.
We've been told to accompany you, Outlander. Just unlock this door for us.
Is there something I can do for you, Outlander?
Glub, glub. Is this a snack on 2 legs? Come, come. Sluggle closer, delicious stranger. Ulvo Telver used to keep the light here. But no more. The stranger is not one of us. Glub, glub. The maw of Paradma is ever hungry. Glub, glub, glub. Wrong. Glub, glub. What does the stranger mean? It is Ulvo's new skin. It will live forever. Glub, glub, glub. They promised Ulvo that it would. The boy died in the grotto below. No. The boy killed himself. Swam too deep. Broke his neck. Ulvo only ate some afterwards. The grotto where they all lie waiting. Visitors from the lake. Under the lighthouse. The entrance is hidden. Mustn't tell more. Is the stranger one of the chosen? Does the stranger carry the sign of Paradma? Glub, glub, glub. Good. There is a hidden door downstairs. The stranger must move the shield on the wall to open it. Now go and join the others. Be quick. Ulvo is hungry. The delicious stranger is making Ulvo hungry. It should worry. Ulvo's claw is powerful. Stranger's neck looks weak. Glub, glub, glub. The delicious stranger is making...
Have you?
I have you!
There is no escape.
By the three, such unfathomable blasphemy. Death was almost too good for them. You escort the priest back to the surface, Ada. We'll stay here and keep guard for the time being.
A warm welcome to you.
By the three. You saved me, Ada. They were going to. Yvonne Seelith breaks down sobbing. Yes. I am forever in your debt, Ada. Please, let us go. I don't know the way out of this place. You lead the way.
Is there something I can do for you, Outlander?
By the three, such unfathomable blasphemy.
3 blessings, Sarah.
You lead the way. You lead the way. Praise the three, we're out of the grotto. Thank you for everything, Ada. Now, I need a moment alone, if that's alright. I need to clear my head. Come see me later, and we'll talk about all that has happened. I'll be at my home. I need a moment alone, if that's alright. I need to clear my head. Come see me later. Perhaps you should let Dava Arnhem know what has happened? And maybe your friend Zadithis Aldrethi, too?
A Loathsome Civilization by Telenger the Artificer. A most the floors of any land. That this substance which foreign traders would liken to scuttle comes not from the flesh of any beetle, nor is it derived from the vegetation of foreign soils. Which being unknown to Dunmer, they have incorrectly assumed to be the origin of these foods. That they are in truth made of suckling water. Which Yvries the Elder in his thoroughness has taken the time to note is foul and sickening to grown mare. That the continued consumption of it is yet known to be widely practiced in the outlands. The meekness of whose inhabitants is well reflected, in that their magi substitute it for blood in sacrifice to their false gods. That great quantities of it are required, so that those humans not able to provide it themselves steal it from their beasts and herd beasts. Which they do by fondling the teats of the beasts, to coax out the liquids. That the humans then pour it in shitten or urinal satchels. One must like to drink piss, who eats this fair comma. Which accounts for the shape and smell of the foods. That whoever has been by curiosity carried past the preceding facts will find it now newly assaulted, learning that those liquids are not only allowed to rot but encouraged to do so. Which is done by the addition of sour leaves or saps or seeds, or certain other substances alike looking here not named dash comma. That this convinces some of the liquid to coagulate and clot like blood, and this is taken from the remaining liquid. Which is fed to swine beasts, which as Ordelaine's bestiary reveals resemble orc beasts with the bloodless skin of men. That such treatment is well indicative of what worth is held by these foul-smelling ingredients. The worst of which it is said do not survive crossing into Morrowind, Shivi be praised. That this element the humans call in their language mold is used in many of their foods, which should therefore be avoided entirely. This is written by Cook and Mournhold, for the benefit and education and safeguarding of discerning Dunmer, as informed by the true testimonies of learned scholars and explorers. Journal. Entry 1. Well, I finally arrived. A new job, in a new city. I am glad I could make it. A bit in the middle of nowhere, difficult to travel by road. I really should have taken the Silt Strider. Oh well, I am going to unpack my belongings. Entry 2. Done. I am all set. Now I can rest a bit. Although, as a lighthouse keeper for a lake, it shouldn't be too hard, unlike my old location, the bitter coast on Vardenfell. Always rainy, always cloudy, damp, and filthy. So gloomy and depressing. I will never, never, never go back there. Here I can see the sun during the day, then Massar and Secunda and all the constellations during the night. Here I breathe clean air. Well, not really, to be honest. There is something stale in this building, but since it has been abandoned by the previous keeper, that was to be expected. Entry 3. Well, I cleaned everything and everywhere, but traces of the foul smell remain. Oh well. The water of the lake must be infiltrating the stone. I just have to make sure that the lighthouse's brazier is alight, and then I can get out. I have already met a few locals, and they are surprisingly friendly despite their odd look. One of them even proposed to celebrate my arrival here, in the lighthouse. Well, I guess I should buy some liquor. Entry 4. The party was alright, I guess. There were 7 of us actually, and, Vivek be blessed, I had enough to eat and drink. The only awkward moment was when I excused myself for the smell. They all stared at me with their bulging eyes. From their reaction, it looked like I was accusing them of smelling. But the weird moment passed, and they even explained that the previous keeper left because he couldn't stand the odor. Well, it is not enough to deter me. They were quite relieved to hear me say that. Entry 5. Well, visitors again. The 6 of them. We ate and drank, but, truth be told, I expected some quiet and privacy. Looks like the lighthouse is their general quarters or something. I will have to put an end to that. Entry 6. Couldn't bring myself to get rid of them. It's weird, because it seems to me that they are waiting for something from me. But what? I don't understand. They keep coming every 2 or 3 evenings. Entry 7. Alright. Now I know what they wanted. I was cleaning the first floor, when I decided that this horrible droop shield displayed there had to go away. I tried to take it down, but it just shifted slightly. I jumped when I heard a loud grinding noise behind me. A part of the wall had just disappeared. Behind this false wall, there was another door, but I had to cover my nose. The stench was overwhelming. It smelled like rotting fish and decaying meat combined. Horrible and disgusting. I nearly threw up. I could not open that door. I moved the shield back in place, and the wall took its normal place. But the next evening, when my visitors came again, I noticed their attention was either on the shield, or, sometimes, on the wall, but rarely on me. Entry 8. I finally told them that I knew about the secret door. And I told them that I didn't open it, and that I didn't want to know anything about it, and that I wanted them to just go away. Well, they didn't leave. But at least, now I have an explanation. Looks like the smell is indeed rotting fish and meat, which is supposed to be some food for the droop. I couldn't believe my ears. They were implying that the droop were living under my lighthouse. Ludicrous. Entry 9. There are droop under the lighthouse. A full colony. I forced myself to open that damned door. The faint smell was getting on my nerves, but beyond, the stench was horrendous. It made all my body hair either stand or wither. After a coiling gallery, I arrived at a huge dark cave. The first thing I noticed was the mushrooms. I had never seen them, even at the Bitter Coast. Only after my eyes got accustomed to the darkness, I saw the droop. How many are there? Entry 10. At first, I thought it was some kind of nesting cave, but the cocoons were too big to be eggs or whatever form droop take at birth. One of my visitors insisted to give me a book about their life cycle, and, according to that book, there is a transition between land droop and water droop, called carvinasm, and another between water droop and land droop, called meph. I think that these huge sacs are the transition cocoon between these two states, probably the meph. Entry 11. I must admit, it is fascinating to see these creatures down here. They are quite peaceful unless you dive in the water. But apart from that, they just live their life. But, why here? And why the secret door? Entry 12. One of them tried to attack me. I was so scared. I ran. After I calmed down, I decided to speak to the man who gave me the book about droop. We had a good talk. He confirmed that it is indeed a transition nest, and explained that there is a very ancient agreement between the Dunmer of Aimrah and the droop of the lake. In exchange for help against Argonians and a relatively quiet coexistence, Aimrah had to provide shelter and food for the droop during transition. So, that droop was not attacking me. In fact, it was expecting some food. Entry 13. So, I agreed with the Aimrah fellows to let them bring food to the droop. The one that tried to, well, to speak to me seemed satisfied. They are scavengers, so rotten flesh is not a problem. Actually, when one of the droop fails his transformation, either because of lack of food or because of some disease, the others eat the remains. It can be a long time before they need us to bring food. Entry 14. I am accustomed to the smell now. It doesn't disturb me anymore. And I am rather satisfied with my studies about the droop. Few mare or men have the opportunity to approach them so closely, but something is off. Last night, my fellows brought a goer for the droops. A whole goer. A whole goer alive. They said that the goer was old and useless, but they could have mercifully killed it before throwing it to the droop. Entry 15. Apart from my visitors, the denizens of Aimrah look at me weirdly. How was I led to believe this situation was normal? Feeding the droop, the famous adversaries of Vivek? Maybe I should speak with the priest of St. Olm's shrine. Entry 16. Why is this door secret? Of course, it is secret. Of course. I am an idiot. This is not the fulfillment of an ancient and venerable agreement. This is a cult. With offerings. And sacrifices. The previous keeper abandoned the lighthouse, didn't he? But, did he? Notes on Droop. Entry 1. Since I have to cope with all the visits to my under-neighbors the Droop, I might as well see for myself what this is all about. Entry 2. This smell. It is so foreign and strong that some strange fungi appeared here. There are mushrooms that I have never seen anywhere else. I should take some samples and see what their properties are. Entry 3. I am intrigued by the strange clusters floating on the surface. The feeble flow of these dark waters made them drift to the walls of the cave. From what I've read in the book Life Cycle of the Droop, I suppose these are the grom, the pellets of fibers that Droop vomit during the so-called meth. Entry 4. I tried to unravel one of the pellets, and I nearly fainted under the assault of the stench. It was 10 times worse than the rotting fish and meat and the acrid smell of all those weird shrooms that surround me. In the end, I found nothing interesting in these little balls. Entry 5. Sometimes, my visitors gather on the platform above, and they just stay there, staring at me weirdly. I've come to realize that this is my cue to leave. So I leave them to do whatever they do there. Entry 6. I started to make a precise account of the meat and fish that they bring here, and the quantities the Droop need. With time, I will find a balance between supply and consumption in hope that nothing will rot and add to the horrible smell. My companions find it funny, but I will try anyway. Entry 7. Well, it is a success. The smell is less overwhelming now, quite bearable. Entry 8. I took a look at their book up there. I was quite surprised to see one of the sermons of Lord Vivek. Well, even if I worship the tribunal, I am not one to delve too deeply into this religious stuff. I discarded it to go back to my work. Entry 9. Yesterday, something happened that scared me. I was sampling some of the weirdest mushrooms of this cave, when all the Droop came near the surface. It was a mess of tentacles and pincers, and lots of water being thrown everywhere. They made a ruckus, hissing and clicking and growling. I stepped back worried. Could they climb the stairs and platforms? Could they reach me? Once out of their sight, I ran away. Entry 10. They are speaking. The first thing I did when they got too excited for my liking, was to warn my visitors. They were amused, to say the least. And I felt like a fool to be so worried. They explained that they just settled an argument between them. So all that noise was actually a language. I am so excited. What if we could speak to these creatures, and come to a mutual understanding? That would be the beginning of a new era, where an intelligent aquatic race would take their rightful place in the history of Tamriel. Entry 11. On the other hand, I witnessed some disturbing behaviors on their part. When one of them starts the transition the meth and unfortunately fails, they just eat it. It is somewhat shocking, and it will be a long way before they enter civilization. Entry 12. I caught a few words. Now I am nearly able to talk to them. Entry 13. Well, they are very basic creatures, with very basic needs, like food, and food. But sometimes they talk about a great cavern, a place where they have to return to pay their respects to their leader, a king of sort. I wonder if this king is the famous ruddy man, probably one of his heirs. Entry 14. I had more discussions with the Droops. Well, if I'm honest, I overheard more conversations. It seems that the Great Cavern and its inhabitant are located in a very deep abyss, far to the south. Could it be the paradmasma that the denizens of Aimrah are talking about with a great level of fear? Entry 15. I spoke to my visitors about the Great Cavern, the King of Droop, and I also mentioned paradmasma. Maybe I shouldn't have. They sent weird looks my way. 36 Lessons of Vivek, Sermon 28. This heavy book looks like one of the official sermons of Vivek, but some passages are heavily crossed out and marred with ink stains. Notes and corrective observations fill the margins. Then Vivek left Set to look after the dome-headed demon and went back to the space that was not a space. From the provisional house he looked into the middle world to find the fifth monster, called the Ruddy Man. When the Droops ruled the world, the Daedroth Prince Malag Bal had been their chief. He took a different shape then, spiny and armored and made for the sea. Vivek, in giving birth to the many spawn of his marriage, had dropped an old image of Malag Bal into the world, a dead carapace of memory. It would not have been a monster if a Velathai child had not wanted to impress his village by wearing it. The Ruddy Man, of the 8 monsters, was the least complicated. He made those who wore him into mighty killers and nothing more. He existed in the physical. Only geography makes him special. When Vivek found him near the boys' village, Anonnesis, there was a violent clash of arms and an upheaval of the earth. Their battle created the West Gash. Wanderers that still go there hear still the sounds of it, soared across the crust, the grunt of God, the snapping of his monster child's splintered legs. After his victory, Vivek took the shell of the Ruddy Man to the Droops that had modified his mother. The Queen of Droops, whose name is not easy to spell, was in a period of self-incubation. Her wardens took the gift from Vivek and promised to guard it from the surface world. This is the first account of Droops being liars. In 10 years, the Ruddy Man appeared again, this time near Tyr, worn by a wayward shaman who followed the House of Troubles. Instead of guarding it, the Droops had imbued the living armor with mythic inflexibility. It molted soon after skill draping the shaman and stretched his bones to the 5 corners. When Vivek met the monster in battle again he saw the remains of 3 villages dripping from its feet. He took on his giant form and slew the Ruddy Man by way of the symbolic collage. Since he no longer trusted the Altmer of the sea, Vivek gave the carapace of the monster to the devout and loyal mystics of the Number Room. He told them, "You may make of the Ruddy Man a philosopher's armor." The mystics began by wrapping one of their sages in the shells, a series of flourishes by 2 supernumerates, one hormonally tall and the other just under his arms. They ran around the carapace and through each other, applying holy resin drawn from the carcasses of the now useless numbers between 12 and 13. Golden straws were quickly stuck through the mythic epidermal so the sage could breathe. After the ceremonial etchings were drawn into hardening resin, long lists of dead names and equations whose solutions were to be found in the mouth of the chimer inside, there came the illuminations, inscribed by the bright, terrible fingernail of Vivek. From the nail's tip flowed a searing liquid, filling the grooves of the ceremonial etchings. They bled out to form veined patterns about the sage shell that theologians would decipher forever after. The ending of the words is, Om Shivi. Toward the end of the sermon, full sentences are crossed out, and the notes in the margin become more and more rude. The last word, Om Shivi, has been nearly carved out of the paper by the nervous use of a sharp quill pen, and is now barely legible.
A warm welcome to you.